All right, live streaming attempt number 3. And I want to talk gradually more and more about data. And, I do a lot of data engineering as my work for my clients, and also I host data pipeline service myself. So it'll be helpful if I can kind of articulate how I approach data, especially for startup application. And so let's begin. And I'm going to talk about like analytics and measuring user goals today. Before I begin, I came across, I like like Lex Friedman podcast, and he invites a lot of like thought leaders in as a guest, and then have very in-depth conversation, honest conversation with people. And one of the favorite episode from recent episodes is by Jeff Bezos, former CEO of Amazon, now CEO of Blue Origin, shooting a rocket to the sky. And so this, I learned so much from this episode. And then he talks a lot about Blue Origin, and I was just so impressed by how much he knows about the mechanics and physics of like shooting rocket out. And also like he talks about customer obsession at Amazon, and then also he talks about the data. And one of the things I wanted to pick up was that when he talked about data versus anecdotes. And here is what he said. Let's see. When the data and the anecdotes disagree, the anecdotes are usually right. And then it doesn't mean you just slavishly go follow the anecdote then. It means you go examine the data, because it's usually not that data is being miscollected. It's usually that you are not measuring the right thing. And so you have a bunch of customers complaining about something at the same time. Your metrics look like they shouldn't be complaining. You should doubt the metrics. And then from here, he pulls out his like actual episode that, in the conference room, people were gathering, and then about the customer call response time at Amazon, and the manager who collected data said it should be on a minute. And the Jeff Bezos, from other recollection anecdotes, he had a hunch that it probably taking much more than 1 minute before customer gets response from customer support. And what he did in the conference room is, let's go. And so he called the customer service at Amazon and for something like, and then they waited in the conference room how long it's going to take for, their phone to be picked up by customer service. And then 30 seconds passed, 1 minute passed, 2 minutes passed. And he said it was like probably around like 10 minutes before he got a phone call. And, there's like, this is just you can't beat this evidence, in front of CEO. It's probably have been such an embarrassment. But he's not like doing it. He was not doing it to accuse somebody, but he's just showing the spirit of truth seeking, and that's the overall impression I got from what he said. And data was, regardless, the very central part of decision making. And so this was the interesting topic that led me to think about my application, which is called OmniCreator. Show you. So aside from helping other startup to just create data infrastructure and the best analytics practice, I myself own the SaaS product, which is to help people become trusted professionals on LinkedIn with outstanding content and high engagement community. What it does is that the product has the editor for content authoring, and with changing fonts, and then using some images or videos from media library, and then schedule the post, and then it will post your content on time. So it's been very delightful using this product myself, and also many people actually found it. It's really good product. So although it's still very small, it's a very early product, but we're happy about that. Now, the product is so small that statistically, if you try to measure something, it doesn't mean anything yet. But I just wanted to demonstrate, still it's good to have some, data collection practice, and then data-driven way of thinking early on in the creating a product like that, developing product like that. So what I mean by that, let me show you some typical example from OmniCreator, how user is trying to achieve their goal to gain some value out of this app, how we can measure the success rate of such attempt, right? And so the one of the first thing user will do when they sign up on OmniCreator, like many other applications, is that to just log on, right? So here's a video, like you can use Google Sign On to log on to OmniCreator, and then after that, like you're saying, here's a part. Let me go back a little bit. So after first time you log on to OmniCreator, since this is the application to post something to LinkedIn, you need to connect your LinkedIn account so that the OmniCreator has permission to post on behalf of you. And so after you log on, you have this kind of like model, and then which you are supposed to click this connect LinkedIn button, and it will take you to LinkedIn site to log on with your password, and then ask you, for the consent. Hey, this third-party application called OmniCreator will do this on your behalf. Would you agree? And then like hopefully user will consent, and then like click allow button, and then that will redirect the app back to user back to the OmniCreator app, and then they can start authoring the content, and then start scheduling post and so on. And so it is very crucial for user to get this connection done as soon as they sign on, right? And so therefore, even when number of users is so small, I wanted to see, what the success rate of like after user sign on to the OmniCreator, and then what is how many people are actually achieving this goal of connecting their LinkedIn account to OmniCreator app, and then that will be the kind of like halfway before they gain the actual value out of OmniCreator, right? So, and then it's like passing the button, like it's a very, very important part of this like passing of the buttons. Oh, before I forget, actually use OmniCreator while I talk about further, and because one of the things OmniCreator can do is to create the LinkedIn post out of what I said. And I just wanted to make sure that OmniCreator is listening to what I'm saying as I talk about this online. So let me turn on, there you go. So here's the, now I'm running OmniCreator on smartphone, and here's the screen of the OmniCreator. And then what I can do on OmniCreator, aside from like a typing, I can ask AI, which is backed by OpenAI technology, to listen to my what I said now, and then turn what I said, typically very unstructured thought, very messy articulation of my thought, into a very clean LinkedIn post. So to do that, click on this like AI button at the bottom from the left side menu, and then click on transcribe audio. I dub it to a star log, and then here comes the star log screen. And then I just click on the record button, and then we'll start recording. And then now we're ready to go. Let's continue on talking about application. So let's see. Okay, so I was just talking about like what user must do as to achieve user goal, which is to schedule post on LinkedIn from OmniCreator application using OmniCreator's very rich editors and very punctual like scheduler, right? And to be able to do so, your first step is to connect your LinkedIn account after first time sign on to OmniCreator, so that a LinkedIn account will be connected to the OmniCreator, and then OmniCreator can submit the post on behalf of the user. So that's the first user goal. Explain this process into some sequence diagram. This is a great way of visualizing what's happening on the between user and app and then backend system, and so that we can clarify our thoughts. All right, let me turn on my doc screen. Here's my magical doc screen, and I have this like nice Sharpie draw. And so let's see user goal. So user goal is to connect LinkedIn account, right? And then, so in the sequence diagram, on the leftmost is typically the user, is a timeline, and then user will interact with app. And in this case, it could be smartphone app or desktop app. and then app will talk to server, the backend system, right? And then so the so first when user access to like Omni Creator, it will create a login screen, and then user will enter like email, password, and so on. The information is passed to server, and then we use third-party authentication service called Auth0. And then Auth0 responds. I mean, I'm just simplifying the logic here, but basically with this kind of delay, user will see, hey, logon complete. So after logging on, what happens here, is that LinkedIn prompt, hey, please connect a LinkedIn account. And after seeing that, it will click the button click. And then I'm going to just omit here, but basically it will be redirected to like LinkedIn, and then some like connection process. And after that's done, so LinkedIn account connected, right? And so you can see that user need to spend a good amount of their like attention and then time before they can even like go to halfway of this like getting value out of Omni Creator. And so for example, like if you measure from the time you get like login screen, entering email, time start clicking, and then like go to LinkedIn account and then click the button and then connect the account. So these are the time, attention, and some effort are required by the user. That's all the cost. And so you can imagine, even when you are not having many users, it's very crucial to somehow measure how much time is spent between those. Like and then like you can actually start digging in like much deeper questions, such as, hey, why is it taking so long? Is it because our user interface is confusing? Is the button small? Those design questions is on one hand. The other side is that the server response time is too slow. Is the data being pulled about user from our database is just too slow because of the some suboptimal like query, SQL query going on under the hood. And so we can kind of digging in, but you get the first big picture. Hey, it is the fact that user is experiencing some frustrating like a time before you get the actual, even going to the halfway before they get the value. And so you can just try to improve those like in checkpoint so that the onboarding process will be as smooth as possible, so that a user can start enjoying Omni Creator as soon as possible. And so even though like especially when even though like user number of users is still small, and we cannot do any sophisticated like A/B test meaningfully with such small number of samples, but it's very, very important to measure when it's meaningful, right? Like in this example. And but of course, going back to basics, nothing is more important than actually talking to user or use your own application when the application especially is still being polished and user base is so small. And in our case, fortunately this is the LinkedIn connected product, so I get to actually get connected with the Omni Creator user through LinkedIn network. And then for some user, I actually talk to everyday basis on LinkedIn chat and to get some feedback, and sometimes hop on to the Zoom meeting. And so I really value going back to the Jeff Bezos like anecdote versus data episode, especially when application user base is small, I really value user conversation, such a rich set of like information you gain by just talking to user for 5 minutes compared to just staring at like database for hours. However, it is also very important to establish some data practice early on, so that you can measure these like critical things as clean as possible, and also gives engineer thinking, hey, yeah, we got it this way on the product, but to measure the success, maybe we should change the variable name to something more clear, and so that this like data collection process will be also clean. And so it is very important to those like establish those good data practice from like bottom up, like from the application coding. And So I think that's what I wanted to share in this like short live video. And now magic. And so after I record everything here, going back to the Omni Creator app, stop recording, and it will take a moment. And just Omni Creator was listening to what I have just been saying, and it will send my voice to OpenAI and to transcribe everything for me. And now it's just thinking. Actually, it was transcribing everything right. Yeah. Okay, there you go. So here's all the transcript. And then, so what happens is that, so after transcribing everything, there's a button called Write a Post right here. And if I click that, Omni Creator will summarize everything and then make a very clean, concise LinkedIn post out of this like messy speaking of mine, with a nice headline, some emoji. So the post is created. It's a little too long because I talked so much. So what I can do after this post is written, I can ask Omni Creator to make it short. Let's do that on the voice. Hey, I like the post you wrote, but it's a little too long. So can you make it shorter? And then it will take the request just like other, ChatGPT application, and then make short, more like condensed version of this post. Actually, a little longer, but with nicely, chunked by paragraphs, so that the reader can easily read. There you go. It looks much cleaner. Yeah, and it was hashtag. So I can copy and paste this into the editor, right? Let me show the entire screen here at the top. Then what I can do is that, okay, let's post this tomorrow, Tuesday, 7:30 a.m. set, and then schedule. Boom. All right. So you're going to see this post tomorrow. Okay. I'm gonna go back and then edit so that make sure everything looks very clean, and maybe a link to this live episode. Oh yeah, one thing you might have question just before I leave here is that. How do we collect such user data? So the when the user, we call it user event when user takes action, and then so some user events are logged as in a backend database with some timestamp depending on how the product engineer will code, right? And then but some are not recorded, especially in the front end, like small sub-steps such as clicking buttons or entering some names. Those are not typically recorded with timestamp on a backend database. But there are like services like I'm not affiliated, or I'm not falling in love with any of those. But just to give you example, is one of the things is called like Mixpanel. From front end application, either native app or JavaScript, you can send those button clicked event signal to those Mixpanel API. Right from the user's front end application, and then Mixpanel will collect those data and aggregate, and even have a dashboard to show you how many user try to this for example achieve this user goal, and then what's the first step, and then first step is to open such page, and then that's of course on this left side 100% accomplished. After that, how many people actually manage to notice this button and then go to next step and so on, and that will have a nice hopefully users don't drop too much, but typically create some funnel of user from wider funnel of large number of user trying to do something, and then small set of user actually achieving the goal. And so you can actually visualize that with collected data on Mixpanel. And another one, if you have more engineering resource, you can use service like Segment. Now it's more like a powerful way of collecting data from your own application and another third-party app. And then it doesn't do much on the kind of visualization part, but it does the aggregate the data and then also send data to destinations such as your data warehouse and other application, like a business application, so that everything is streamlined from data collection, and then help you to either make decision, visualize and make decision, or even automate those decision making process in action using this tight data integration. That's Twilio Segment service. It used to be independent startup, but now owned by Twilio. So this is just tools, and then there's many way of doing that. But my point is to just from early on, establish the practice of collecting data and think hard how cleanly collect the data from the process that you are developing an application. So that's all, really all what I wanted to say today. And I hope this, I'm trying to get better at this live talking. So this is my goal of like doing live stream, is that I'll be better at kind of like a, convey my idea without pre-scripting, so that I can hop on whenever I have some idea to share. I can just share this way. And then this will be, I'm also like in this year, I'm trying to create lecture style video around the data practice and so on. And so this kind of live event helped me to kind of polish what I want to create in this like video, lecture video. So, I hope it will be worthwhile for you to just stick around and say hi. Yeah, speaking of say hi, please comment, and so that I will know who was watching this, and so we can start conversation and get some feedback. And thank you so much for listening, if you're listening, and stay tuned. I'll come back.